All right, what I'm doing today is I'm getting in here and I'm pruning out the lower limbs on all these tomatoes, and the ones that are tall enough I'm getting attached to the cattle panel, kind of like I did that one. That one was there last week. But what I'm noticing on this one, this is a Big Zac, and it's an indeterminate, and it looks like it's going to have 2 leaders on it, and I don't believe either one of those is a sucker. If you see, it looks like 2 stems fused together and it's just shooting up in 2 different ways. So I'm gonna have to plan to trellis both sides of that up somehow, or choose to chop one off, which I really don't want to do. I just want to see where the tomatoes are coming in and selectively reduce as needed. Got to get that big tomato growing. This is a white tomasol, which is also an indeterminate, and you can see it's split off into 2 trunks. And I would like to do 1 liter, but I'm just going to let this one go and see what it does. Now this is a mountain merit, and that is definitely a sucker there in the middle. So I will cut that sucker off and let one of these limbs take over as the lead. Some of them are leaning and not just not quite tall enough to hook onto the trellis yet. My broody chicken's being a jerk because I threw her off the nest. Anyway, I'm going to stake them up until they're tall enough. And I'm just going to use one of these plastic stakes and push it down and stake it up until it gets tall enough to trellis. And on this Rutgers, I've already got a little tomato on it. I didn't even see any blooms, or I probably would have picked them off till it got a little bigger. So I'm still having problems with the squirrels getting over here in my green stalk and scooping out the flowers. They all but killed my nasturtiums over there. Still gave him a haircut though, just because I want him to get taller and keep all the leaves off the ground as much as possible. I'll do another full update here in a few weeks, but I've got the 2 round beds planted. I've got my 3 other planters out here. I've got a 4th one down there. I don't have anything yet filled yet. Hadn't planted anything in these yet. Still can plant stuff in the front of that one, in the front of that one. But I'll do a full update here in a few days. But I just had to get those scarecrows out there and water the plants tonight and come check on everything since I pruned them heavily yesterday. But we'll see y'all soon. Getting ready to film some garden updates and update you on a few things. We've got lots going on, but first I gotta let the big girls out and let them get their free range time in today. Some of the first day updates are, look at these beans. These are those Kentucky Wonder Pole beans that I planted here less than a week ago really. And then there's only, looks like that last one's just now starting to pop up in there, and I'm happy to say the Cherokee Trellis beans all popped up too. So those are looking good. That's the first little bit of progress we have. Brussels sprouts are still looking puny. I don't know if they're going to make or not. All the rest of the greens are looking really, really good. Cauliflower looks a little slow. But look at this over here. I'm starting to get some sugar snap peas on here. So that's exciting. Broccoli is getting bigger. Chard, I'm harvesting chard and kale every day for the chickens. It's getting to the point where I'm going to be able to start harvesting this, and I freeze it, and I supplement the chickens with it in the winter too. And I do that with some of these big leaves on here too. This box needs some water because it's looking droopy down here. Same with that box. I'll get that done today. Those peas over there are starting to put on peas too. And then I'm still getting probably 8 or 10 strawberries a day off of here. I hadn't seen any more blooms. I really do hope they put on more blooms. I can't remember if they're ever bearing or not, or June bearing. But I'm still getting 8 or 10 strawberries a day, and they're going right in the freezer. And hopefully I'll get enough to make 1 batch of strawberry jam this year. That usually is plenty for us. Over here are the Wisconsin. This is bed Wisconsin 55 tomatoes. And this is where I seeded the radishes. I've been thinning those out as they pop up. And here are the rutabaga and turnips down here. There's also some red merlot lettuce popping up in there. I forgot I had put a row of that in there when I came back with the rutabagas and radishes and such, so we'll just see. Trying this again, my phone keeps saying memory full. But here's just a little update. The lettuce bed is filling out nicely with some Georgia collards there in the center and some teddy bear sunflowers down there in the very center that are popping up. Over here the onions and the melons are finally starting to pop up, especially those charentas there. I'll get in there and thin those out because that's too many melons for that, but at least they're popping up. I don't have anything in this, there's nothing in this pot right now. Look, some of the zinnias I planted are starting to pop up over here too. I don't have anything in there yet. I haven't decided what I want to do. I might do a dwarf corn. It only gets about 3 foot tall, called orchard, baby orchard corn. I might put smoker in there, I don't know. Peppers and tomatoes are looking good after their haircut. Over here, I had those 2 extra yellow bell peppers, so I stuck them in this pot right here. Over here, all the cucumbers have popped up, and here in a few days I'll thin those out as well. Those are the cucamelons down there on the end, the little ones. These onions aren't doing quite as well as the big sweet onions, Texas yellow sweet onions. I'm not sure why, but we're cautiously optimistic that they'll get bigger here in a little while. I need to fertilize them. Over here in this bed, that's the It's the Sweet 100 and Rutgers over here. I thought that one little tomato was on the Rutgers, but I had it backwards. That's the Sweet 100s. Anyway, the deal in the corners there, I don't have anything else planted in front of these or those yet. But I'll add something eventually, maybe another round of green beans. We'll see. This is the eggplant bed. And all the eggplant are looking really good. Even that one I didn't think was doing so hot, it's picked up and put on some new leaves. Mexican sunflower popping up there. Lavender's starting to grow. Some of the nasturtiums I planted around the side are starting to pop up here. And there's another Mexican sunflower, basil. These tomatoes over here are looking good. Okay, these are the mochi cherry tomatoes over here. And this is the ground cherry bucket, and I saw earlier, I think right here, I've got some little ground cherries in there. Several. But they're looking good. In this pot down here, I planted some patty pan squash down here. And then these tomatoes over here, my scarecrow's working, I think. These tomatoes over here are hopefully getting tall enough to, I'm gonna pinch those blooms right there off. I'm just not quite ready for them to put on blooms because I want them to grow taller. But the basil's doing okay. This one's already staked up. They're starting to get some growth on them over here. Basil in there that I topped not too long ago. And bed number 4, these are all yellow and orange bell peppers. They've got some blooms in there. I got tired of picking them off. They were just blooming too much. I guess they're ready to make fruit, so we'll let them. I just hope they get taller. Those are small. Usually I have pepper plants that are 2 or 3 feet tall. And I'm not sure what's going on there. If anybody knows what that is, let me know, because if I need to yank that one out of there, I will. That's a big zac. And whatever it is, I don't want it getting to the rest of them. But that's where I'm at today on this Friday. I hope you all are having a good day. I still got to fill this little pot down here. I want to give it a good scrub first. I ordered these from Lowe's and they sent that to me like that. Can you believe that? No telling what that is. So it's going to get a good scrub before I do anything with it. I'll probably just put flowers in it. These Georgia collards down here are not doing too hot. I will probably end up yanking them out and putting something else in there. But these tomatoes are looking good. I can stake that one up now. They're doing fine since their haircut. Same with the basil. That basil will start bushing out. They're all looking good. And this is this little bed down here on the end that I planted the Chinese noodle beans. I'll definitely get in there and thin these out. And then those bush beans I planted in there are popping up. Looks like some are still trying to pop up. Black hollyhock in the front. The dill is starting to come back. So again, maybe my scarecrow's working in here. These tomatoes over here are looking okay. These were unicorn cherry tomatoes down here. And these dill and these green beans down here are doing good and popping up. These last two beds I did with zucchini and squash just a couple days ago, still not popped up yet. I expect it to. These are the newest beds, but they'll probably take a few more days. Squash and zucchini usually does take a couple days. And I forgot to point out around these these ground cherries, that these nasturtiums I planted over here are starting to pop up too. So here in a few weeks, hopefully I'll have some more color in here.